Etihad Airways is one of the two national airlines of the United Arab Emirates and one of the country's two major airlines, the other being Emirates. Its head office is in Khalifa City, Abu Dhabi, near Abu Dhabi International Airport. Etihad commenced operations in November 2003. It is the second largest airline in the UAE after Emirates. The name Etihad is Arabic for union. The airline operates more than 1,000 flights per week to over 120 passenger and cargo destinations in the Middle East, Africa, Europe, Asia, Australia, and North America, with a fleet of 102 Airbus and Boeing aircraft as of February 2020. In 2015, Etihad carried 14.8 million passengers, a 22.3% increase from the previous year, delivering revenues of $9.02 billion and net profits of $103 million. Its main base is Abu Dhabi International Airport. In addition to its core activity of passenger transportation, Etihad also operates Etihad Holidays and Etihad Cargo. Etihad established its airline alliance, Etihad Airways Partners, in October 2015, which was disbanded in 2018 after several of its members fell into financial difficulties. Etihad Airways holds minority equity investments in the participating airlines, as well as having had a stake in Virgin Australia, until its insolvency in April 2020 with no return on investment. Booking for these airlines was consolidated under one network. The Emirate of Abu Dhabi was a joint owner of Gulf Air along with Bahrain, Qatar, and the Sultanate of Oman. Abu Dhabi International Airport was one of Gulf Air's bases and hubs from the 1970s until September 2005, when Abu Dhabi withdrew from the airline, leaving it an Oman and Bahrain-owned airline until the former's exit in 2007 to focus on Oman Air. Etihad in Arabic means union or unity. The name represents the unity of the seven emirates of the United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, Amman, Al Kuwain, Ras Al Khaimah, and Fujairah. In July 2003, future UAE President Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, who wanted an airline for Abu Dhabi, issued a royal, Amiri, decree that established Etihad Airways as the national airline of the United Arab Emirates. His relation Sheikh Ahmed bin Saif Al Nahyan founded and started with an initial paid-up capital of AED 500 million. Services were launched with a ceremonial flight to Al Ain on November 5, 2003. On November 12, 2003, Etihad commenced commercial operations with the launch of services to Beirut, Lebanon. In June 2004, the airline placed a $8 billion aircraft order for 6 Boeing 777-200 LRS and 24 Airbus aircraft, including 10 Airbus A380s. Its first A380 was delivered in December 2014. In June 2008 at the Farnborough Air Show, the airline announced an order for 35 Boeing 787s and 10 777s, options for 25 787s and 10 777s and purchase rights on 10 787s and 5 777s. Etihad reported its first full-year net profit in 2011, of $14 million, in line with the strategic plan announced by CEO James Hogan in 2006. In December 2011, Etihad announced it had taken a 29.21% stake in Air Berlin, Europe's sixth-largest airline, and Hogan was appointed vice chairman. It followed this up with minority stakes in other airlines: Air Seychelles, 40%, Aer Lingus, 2.987%, Virgin Australia, 10%. On August 1, 2013, the president of the company, Hogan, signed a deal with Aleksandar Vučić, first deputy prime minister of Serbia, in Belgrade, giving Etihad a 49% stake in the Serbian national carrier Jet Airways. The Serbian government retained 51% of the shares, with the company being rebranded as Air Serbia. In September 2012, the Indian government announced that foreign airlines could take a stake of up to 49% in Indian carriers. On April 24, 2013, Jet Airways announced that it was ready to sell a 24% stake in the airline to Etihad for $379 million. The deal was completed on November 12, 2013. At the 2013 Dubai Air Show, Etihad announced that it was acquiring a 33.3% stake in the Swiss carrier Darwin Airline. Darwin was rebranded as Etihad Regional from March 2014. Etihad sold its stake in Darwin in 2017. On August 1, 2014, Etihad agreed to take a 49% stake in the Italian flag carrier Alitalia for an estimated €560 million. The deal was closed on August 8, 2014. On January 1, 2015, Alitalia CAI formally passed its operations to Alitalia SAI, a new entity owned 49% by Etihad and 51% by the Alitalia CAI shareholders. In May 2016, the management structure was reshuffled, as Hogan became CEO of the airline's parent company, Etihad Aviation Group. Peter Baumgartner, formerly the airline's chief commercial officer, became chief executive officer of the airline, reporting to Hogan. In December 2016, Handelsblatt Global reported that Hogan was going to be dismissed after a failed spree of acquisitions in Europe. On January 24, 2017, the Etihad Aviation Group Board of Directors announced that Hogan, along with Group CFO James Rigney, would be stepping down in the second half of 2017. Peter Baumgartner, former CEO of the airline, became the acting CEO of the airline as it faced mounting losses from its investments in Air Berlin and Alitalia. On May 2, 2017, Alitalia filed for bankruptcy. Hogan and Rigney left Etihad later that month. On July 27, Etihad reported a loss of $1.873 billion for 2016. On August 15, Air Berlin filed for bankruptcy after Etihad withdrew its financial support. As an interim measure, the board of directors appointed Ray Gammell as CEO, previously Chief People and Performance Officer, while searching for a permanent replacement. On January 9, 2018, Etihad Airways appointed Mark Powers as Group CFO, replacing interim Group CFO Ricky Thyrion. On July 2, 2017, the United States Department of Homeland Security unbanned Etihad Airways and exempted Etihad Airways from the 2017 electronics ban after the airline enhanced its passenger screening processes. In June 2018, Etihad reported a net loss of $1.52 billion for 2017. In February 2019, Etihad announced large order cancellations for both Airbus and Boeing aircraft. The airline terminated contracts for all 42 Airbus A350-900s, 2 A350-1000s, and 19 of 24 ordered Boeing 777X. On May 1, 2021, it was announced Etihad Airways sold its 40% stake in Air Seychelles back to the government of Seychelles. In May 2020, shortly after Air France retired its entire Airbus A380 fleet due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there were rumors that Etihad Airways was considering cancelling all its remaining Airbus A350 orders and retiring its entire Airbus A380 fleet due to more financial losses caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Etihad CEO Tony Douglas said that Etihad's A380 fleet was very likely not to fly again in passenger service, and therefore are likely to be withdrawn after only 7 years in service. This move would make Etihad the third Airbus A380 operator to retire its Airbus A380 fleet, following Air France KLM and Hi-Fly Malta. 38. However, by May 26, 2020, Etihad confirmed that the airline will not cancel its remaining Airbus A350 orders and plans to proceed with them. The airline also confirmed that it had no plans to ditch its Airbus A380 fleet into early retirement, unlike Air France, despite the COVID-19 pandemic. However, as of October 2020, Some sources stated that the Etihad Airbus A380 still had a potential possibility of early retirement due to the aircraft market changes and demand caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, as Douglas referred to the Airbus A380 as a heavily inefficient handicapped behemoth by 2 engines too many. Douglas also said that smaller long-range twinjet aircraft such as the Boeing 777X, 787, and Airbus A350 can do the job far more efficiently and sustainably than that of the A380. In February 2021, Etihad Airways vaccinated all its operating pilots and cabin crew against COVID-19, the first airline to vaccinate all its operating pilots and cabin crew. Since most of Etihad's flights were grounded between March and June 2020, the airline posted a core operating loss of $1.7 billion in 2020, and the airline's passenger traffic dropped by 76% to 4.2 million. Throughout 2020, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Etihad Airways laid off over 1,000 cabin crew and pilots. Etihad had reported significant losses even before the pandemic. Since 2016, it lost over $5.62 billion, and in 2019 losses amounted to $870 million. The airline's full-year losses amounted to $1.7 billion in 2020. Return to profitability. In July 2022, Etihad announced a record-breaking first-half profitability of $296 million. This was achieved due to the increased passenger travel demand. Etihad carried 3 million more passengers in the first half of 2022, compared to the first half of 2021. Etihad has its head office in Khalifa City, Abu Dhabi, near Abu Dhabi International Airport. Etihad spent 183.6 million UAE dirhams, $50 million in 2007 to arrange to have its new head office and training center built. The new head office was scheduled to be finished by the end of 2007. Etihad's equity alliance is composed of airlines in which Etihad has minority shareholdings: Air Serbia, 18%. The incorporated airlines were also part of the now disbanded Etihad Airways Partners Alliance between 2015 and 2018. With Virgin Australia's bankruptcy and subsequent restructuring, the company's shareholding in the airline ended in its entirety. In late December 2020, the government of Serbia recapitalized Air Serbia, increasing its stake to 82%, thus decreasing Etihad's stake to 18%. Event and organizations. On December 18, 2007, Etihad announced that it would become the title sponsor for the 2009 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix to be held on Yas Island. The F1 logo and the words Formula 1 Etihad Airways Abu Dhabi Grand Prix appeared on the aircraft for 1 month before the race. In October 2008, it was announced that Etihad would take over sponsorship of the Docklands Stadium in Melbourne, Australia, previously known as the Telstra Dome. The name change to Etihad Stadium took effect on March 1, 2009. On March 19, 2008, it was announced that Etihad Airways would become a main sponsor for the All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship from 2008 to 2010, which was later extended until 2012. On April 12, 2012, the Gaelic Athletic Association signed a new 5-year sponsorship deal with Etihad. On March 25, 2014, Etihad announced a partnership with Major League Soccer, MLS, in the United States to become the official airline partner of MLS, in a multi-year deal. Etihad Airways were the main sponsor for the 2015 Etihad Airways GAA World Games held in Abu Dhabi and the 2016 Etihad Airways GAA World Games held in Dublin. The sponsorship has since ceased. In 2017 it was announced that Etihad Airways would collaborate with IMG Models, on a show called Model Diaries, showcasing models in high fashion as they travel to fashion shows around the world. And in November 2018 its first episode featured high fashion model Xiao Wenju as she traveled to Dubai. Former sponsorships. Etihad was a sponsor of UAE sports clubs, including the Abu Dhabi Rugby Union Football Club, the Abu Dhabi International Sailing School and the Abu Dhabi International Marine Sports Club, ADIMSC, as well as the Al Jazeera Club. It also had sponsored the two Arena Football League teams, the Baltimore Brigade and Washington Valor, before the league went bankrupt and dissolved in 2019. Etihad Cargo, formerly Etihad Crystal Cargo, is the dedicated freight operations branch of Etihad. The carrier refreshed its brand image in June 2012, dropping the Crystal part, with full Etihad Cargo titles now applied billboard style in line with the airline's current corporate design. Etihad Cargo operates 6 Boeing 777-FS. It has previously operated a Boeing 747-400F and Boeing 747-8F, both leased from Atlas Air but operated in full Etihad Cargo colors. In January 2018, Etihad announced it would retire and either sell or lease out its 5 relatively new Airbus A330-200F freighters due to a change in strategy and reduction of freight capacity. In August 2018, it was announced that all 5 A330 freighters had been sold to DHL Aviation. Etihad Cargo delivered 368,000 tons of cargo in 2012, a tonnage growth of 19% on the back of a capacity increase of 14% in available tonnage kilometers. Etihad's new facility at Abu Dhabi International Airport is equipped to handle more than 500,000 tons annually. In September 2018, Etihad Cargo announced a revised and heavily downsized network of cargo destinations to reflect the reduced fleet and a focus on core freight operations. As of June 2019, Etihad serves 81 passenger and cargo destinations across Africa, Europe, North America, Asia, and Australia from its hub at Abu Dhabi International Airport. Until terminating the Sao Paulo service in late March 2017, Etihad Airways was one of the few carriers to have passenger services to all 6 inhabited continents. As 2021 began, the airline suspended its flights to South Africa as a part of its ongoing review of network performance. Etihad opened a twice-weekly route to Tel Aviv, Israel, in April 2021. Later in June 2023, the airline announced expansions of some routes, such as expanding the frequency of flights to Rome from Abu Dhabi from 7 to 11 times per week. Etihad Airways operates a fleet of both narrow-body and wide-body aircraft from 4 aircraft families: Airbus A320 family, Airbus A350-1000, Airbus A380-800, Boeing 777 and Boeing 787 Dreamliner, totaling 81 aircraft. The current livery, Facets of Abu Dhabi, was unveiled in September 2014 on the first of the airline's new A380s. It features a golden and silver triangular tessellation on the vertical stabilizer and rear fuselage. A golden Etihad logo and a UAE emblem over the windows, with the UAE flag painted on the front door. The background was painted in light beige and the wingtip also has a UAE emblem. The golden color was inspired by the color of the Arabian Desert. The former livery features a UAE flag and a falcon emblem on the vertical stabilizer and a golden Etihad logo on the windows. Red and golden stripes were painted on the fuselage. This livery is still present on a few Boeing 777-300 ERS and Airbus A320s. Fly with Etihad, enjoy the sky.